Hi there, I'm Marianne from DynamicProposalsNZ, and I believe any business, no matter large or small, can develop really great proposals. All you need is some good advice, a good process and access to the internet. Gone are the days of spending weeks and weeks developing business proposals, bringing in expensive bid writers and graphic design companies. Today, with the help of technology, you can do so much more yourself. And DynamicProposalsNZ is all about helping you to do that. Today, I'm going to talk about what I think a good proposal looks like and take you through some basic design principles and some basic elements of a good-looking proposal, and then you can go away and create your own great-looking proposal time after time. So, when we're considering business proposals and what they look like and how attractive they are, we are thinking about three things. One is the text or the words that make up the proposal. Two are the graphics and the design of the proposal. And three is the reinforcement of the key points in the proposal. Nowadays, anyone with a laptop and access to the internet can design a really great proposal. There's so much software out there, so many apps, so you can develop a great proposal for next to nothing. But there's a watch out here. While all that amazing software is available, the actual principles of how to put together a great looking proposal are very hard to find. My key recommendation is that before you start writing your proposal, that you develop yourself a visual style guide. And that style guide will help you establish the look and feel of the document and help you to save a lot of time, a lot of money, and also not get distracted by all the wonderful things that you can do with technology these days. Before we get to the elements of the style guide, I'd like to take you quickly through 6 key design principles. Design principle number 1 is contrast. So contrast in a document is about how much contrast you want. Maximum contrast, of course, is black and white. Minimum contrast is when you have two colours that are tonally very similar. We use strong contrast when we want something to jump out. We use low contrast when we want something to blend. The next principle is balance, and that's balance across the document and balance across the page. As humans, we often see or perceive things in thirds. So typically when a professional graphic designer is looking at a page, they're looking at it in terms of thirds from the top and thirds from the left. And they are checking that all of those 9 boxes are visually balanced, that one box is not stronger than the other. Consistency is really important across the document. Consistent typefaces, consistent use of graphics, consistent use of colour. The beginning of the document and the end of the document and the middle should have a consistent look and feel. Alignment is also really important. The eye naturally moves down a page, and so the items on the page should be naturally aligned to follow the way that our eyes work. People's eyes shouldn't have to jump all over the page to understand what you're saying. Repetition is also important. Repetition gives us a sense of consistency, of trust, of understanding what's going to happen next. So typically in a good proposal, you will see a repetition of colours, repetition of fonts, repetitions of style, and that all adds to how good the document looks. The last key design principle is proximity. The closer two things are on a page, the more likely the buyer sees them as related. The further away they are, the less they appear related. So we create white space between things that are not related and bring things that are related closer together. When you create your style guide for your proposal, there are 5 key things I'd like you to consider. The first is the colour palette you're going to use. If you already have a brand guide from your organisation, try to use those colours. Also, the colours of the buyer are very important as well. Typically, a colour palette for a business proposal has 5 colours: 2 dark neutrals, 2 paler neutrals, and 1 accent colour. But this can change depending on your brand and the buyer's brand. But the important thing is that you don't use 100 colours, you use a selection of colours. Think about your page style. Is your page in 1 column, 2 columns? Is it portrait? Is it landscape? How is each page arranged? What I normally do when I do my style guide is I give myself an aligned group of about 3 or 4 different page styles. That means I can create continuity but also interest right throughout the document. Graphics are the 3rd key element of good document design. There are all kinds of graphics: tables, charts, infographics, photos, illustrations, you name it, icons. There's so many graphics to choose from. What's important though is to think about what graphics best suit the messages that you are making. The 3rd part of the style guide is thinking about graphics. There are so many different graphics to choose from: diagrams, process flows, hierarchies, icons, photos, illustrations, infographics, just so many different types of graphics. What's important is that you think about the graphics that will help you to tell your story, and then decide on a style of graphic that is going to best help you to tell your story, and apply your colour palette to those graphics. Number 4, graphic devices. Graphic devices don't tell a story specifically, but they help bring together the overall look and feel of the document. These can be all types of things, but they don't have a specific meaning in themselves. Sometimes they might be a simple line. They could be a triangle faded into the background. All number of different things that give the document an overall professional look and feel. But just make sure you don't go overboard with these. They're there to support, not to dominate the document. Last part of the style guide is the font or the typeface. There are so many, there are hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of typefaces out there. I always use typefaces that are well recognised in business and aren't going to cause any surprises. I typically use 2 typefaces. I use a serif typeface for my words, for example, Times New Roman. A serif typeface is the one that's got the wee lines on the ends of the letters or the wee curls. A sans serif typeface is the other typeface that I use, and I typically use that for headings and when I want something to stand out or when I haven't got much room. These are the ones without the lines at the ends of the letters and are usually very simple and very modern. Also within typefaces, think about the size of your headings. Each heading is typically 4 points larger than the one below it. And very last point, be consistent in your use of underlining, bolding, and italics. You should always use these for the same purpose so that you don't confuse your buyers. So, in this video, I have shown you how to create a style guide. Now that you've got a style guide, you can use any of the software apps and choose a pre-made template that best suits your needs. Or you can create a custom template. But no matter which way you go, you now know what good looks like for you. So that's it for today. If you want to know more, check out my other videos, subscribe to my free YouTube channel, or go to my website, DynamicProposalsNZ, for more information. Thank you for listening.